I said, hey, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. I said, hey, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. We're gonna drink a fine whiskey and smoke a really fine cigar.
It is time for Happy Hour, the Man Cave Happy Hour, whiskey, cigars, spirits, the stories that go along with it. I'm Jamie Flanagan.
I am Matt Fox, and I'm August Gitchley. August is not here with us tonight, but he's here in spirit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We are. And speaking of spirits, holy smokes. I'm sharing away because we are live at Motor City Gas.
Motor City Gas Whiskey, Royal Oak.
There's so much to talk about. The space alone is getting bigger and better all the time. And Rich Lockwood is with us. Rich, you got there's so many things to talk about. We're breaking down the four walls and you're heading out. But you've never really been four walls because you're out on the farm and all kinds of stuff. But you're breaking down the walls and you're gonna be sharing this with the world outside of the confines of the square footage here in Royal Oak. So, Rich, welcome to the Man Cave.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back, guys.
Welcome back to the Man Cave.
Welcome back to the Man Cave.
See you guys
It's
again.
good to have you back.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people can hear it in the background, but it's always exciting here at Motor City Gas. We got a band playing in the other room.
Yeah, a little midnight crew.
And funny, I do, the high school teaching thing, and there's another high school teacher in the band, Mike Conrad, their broadcast teacher. That's so hilarious. But we're here to talk about the bourbons.
Yes.
So you are, it's grain to glass, right? So people can go back and hear the other episodes. And we talk all about, your process and just all the cool stuff that you do. But now you have one of those barrels and you're doing something that people have been clamoring for. You're making it available outside of here.
Correct.
So congratulations. We're sweating bullets.
Sweating bullets.
Is
Sweating
that
bullets bourbon.
So that's the one. That's the fella that's going out.
That's the first one. Yep.
First one.
First barrel. We'll have more to follow.
Okay.
We're leading with our wheated bourbon.
Okay.
So for those novices out there in the bourbon world, traditionally, bourbon is mostly made from corn, and then it's normally seasoned with a little bit of rye. Which will give it a spicy note.
Just a little bit.
That's a spicy. All right.
And then there's wheated bourbons, which are seasoned with a little bit of wheat. So rye tends to give the bourbon a drier, spicy note. Wheat tends to give it a little bit sweeter, nutty note. What I find really unique about ours is we have a big spice on our wheated bourbon, which is not traditional. But I'm a big rye fan, so I kind of dig it that way.
But real quick, because Jamie said something just a few moments ago, and he said grain to glass.
Yep.
And you have done something that here in Michigan, and you have some land somewhere in the state of Michigan.
I think you guys expanded that a bit since the last, because we were here early on.
Yeah,
it's been a couple years.
Yeah, I don't think we had. I don't know if we had the farm. When
so you were talking
about.
What is the farm? What's going on the farm?
Yeah, so dirt to bottle has always been the goal.
Love that.
We've
dirt
always wanted to
not even grain to glass. We're dirt to bottle.
Control it all the way from germinating seed all the way to bottling and labeling. We've been grain to glass since we opened, which means crushing grain here on site all the way to pouring it in your glass. And then right around the time that I think we had you in last, we acquired some farmland out in Ann Arbor. And we've got a big barn we built out there where we're stacking up all our barrels that we're making. We're growing organic heirloom grains, not just your standard grains, but we go out and we search for these exotic heirlooms that
we're finding different species.
So what is an heirloom grain?
So it's basically a non-hybridized grain. It's a grain that its lineage is pure and it hasn't been crossed with other breeds for farming efficiencies. So it creates a lot of challenges and inefficiencies when you try and grow it. And it's risky, but it's got all that goodness that Mother Nature intended, both from a nutrient standpoint, but we also believe from a flavor standpoint.
All right.
So we've been having a lot of fun with that. We grow the grains there, bring them here, turn it into bourbon and whiskey, and then a bunch of our small batch barrels are here at the distillery, but most of them, the volume stuff, the bourbon and the rye, go back out to the farm. And
you building out your own rick house out there? And
yeah, we got a great big barn we built, and we got a forklift out there, and we're just stacking them as high as we can.
Nice. Who's Farmer Brown out there? Who's growing? Who's doing the growing?
Yeah, so we've got a farmer next door that we've kind of partnered up with. And he's got the big, sexy farm equipment. So he'll come in and do the fancy stuff like the drill seeding and the harvesting. We'll do the grunt work in between.
Right.
But we'll kind of go out and find the seed and collaborate with him. Like I said, he does the heavy lifting stuff, and then we ship it off to another partner that we work with who does the cleaning. But we've got our own dryer there. We're looking to upgrade the farm so we can clean the grain and store the grain there as well. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been a huge exploration.
Man, what a project.
Kind of the next step we're looking for out there is to move to a regenerative farming practice, which is kind of like organic on steroids. Where we get into no tilling, no plowing. It's a very, very natural way of taking it back to the way things.
So what you're doing right now, instead of buying the grains, is this more cost effective, or are you just a lunatic?
It can be. It can be. And just to be clear, we're not growing 100% of our grain. We're probably 20 to 30%. The goal is to eventually be 100%.
Of course.
The stuff that we're not growing ourselves is almost exclusively Michigan grown. We've got some local farmers we partner with. The only time I import grains is if it's something really exotic that I can't find here in Michigan. Or we love our peat malts. And when we do that, when we do a Scotch style or an Irish style, we like to import from across the pond to infuse a little terroir.
I love that.
To make sure it's done right. The stuff that we're growing, if we were to just grow regular yellow dent corn, no, it would not be as cost effective as buying it from a large farmer. But in some cases, like with our autofile corn that we're going to plant this spring, we started with a 1 pound bag and propagated it over the course of 2 or 3 years until we had enough. And it's an exotic Indian orange corn. It was grown here by Native American Indians hundreds of years before settlers even came over.
Nice.
So in the case of that, it's a lot. It's very cost effective because you can't find that stuff, and if you do, you're going to pay an arm and a leg for it. So in instances like that, it's definitely.
So what was the thought process to lead you down that path to buy that barn, buy that land in Ann Arbor, and then start this process? Where did that come from?
I mean, that was the dream all along.
We didn't on your little dream chart.
It's on the dream chart for sure. I mean, that was always the goal. We're a small family business. It's just my wife Tanya and I, and the folks here that help us. So we didn't have the means early on for that. We bought what we could afford here, and then I'd say about 3 or 4 years in is when we acquired the farm. The main need is we ran out of places to stick barrels here.
Right.
And
which is a good problem to have.
But then we got out there and we saw these beautiful fields that the gentleman that owned it before us was growing organic vegetables on. And we thought it was a perfect fit for Motor City Gas.
I like it.
I like that.
And the other thing was, like you said, you were running out of room here. You had a very small tasting room. You had your distilling room, and then you had
this
shelves full of. But you've moved things out in this gorgeous little space that we're sitting. It's not that little. It's probably almost as much square footage as the original tasting room. It's a cool little space, right? I showed these guys a picture, and they're like, "Where the hell are you?" I'm like, "Motor City Gas," and it is so cool. So you have this extra room, and it's sort of overflow, and you can do private parties and all kinds of stuff back here. And this is gorgeous. This is cool and swanky as all get out. I am digging this. I always love the cocktails. I always love coming in. That's
our most popular. Old fashioned is what we're known for. Since day one to this day, it's always outsells all the fancy craft cocktails we come up with.
So one of the things I really enjoy about coming here as a patron to support you and your family,
which I appreciate.
My oldest daughter and I came out here a few months ago, and we had a few cocktails. But the most amazing part of that experience was the person behind the bar. making the cocktails. They knew they were asking questions. What is our profile like? They really wanted us to, have a great experience.
Yeah.
And do you put your bartenders through that type of training when they come and they want to be a part of the family?
I can't take credit for what the magic they conduct.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a great staff here, and we've got they don't like to be called mixologists, but I call them mixologists. I stayed away
from that word. Yeah.
And I wish I could take credit for it, but they work the magic at the bar.
Okay.
I make the juice, and then they turn it into the magic that's in your glass. And I obviously taste test. This is my baby, so I taste test everything that they're coming up with. But they just continue to surprise me menu after menu with what they do.
It's great. So thank you for what they do.
Yeah,
exactly.
You found good people, man. You got a good crew here.
Good people find us.
And then so we're enjoying the cocktails, and people come in, they can buy the bottles to go, and up until now, if you wanted some Motor City Gas juice, you had to come here.
Yeah.
People have been clamoring, and finally you've worked out a deal with Great Lakes.
Great Lakes Wine and Spirits is our distributor.
Yeah,
fantastic.
And it's going to be available. So what's the plan, and where's it going?
Yeah, so the bummer is here in Michigan, we're not allowed to ship to households. So you can't get it delivered to your front door.
Right.
But we can go through a distributor, which then sells it to businesses with a liquor license. So bars, restaurants, and stores. Pretty much anybody in the state of Michigan. And Great Lakes is huge. Most businesses work with them. So so now we're going to kind of dabble in those waters. Like you said, it's always been on site here for the first 9 years.
Yeah.
Kind of our gig has been just a crazy variety of bourbons and whiskeys.
Yeah.
We probably produced over 90 since we've opened. We normally have 10 to 20 at a time that you can sample. And the thing that I'm most proud about is not only have we gotten into a lot of creativity, but we've gotten age up on our spirits now, where our youngest whiskeys spend a minimum of 4 years aging in those barrels.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And this fall we plan to have 1 or 2 9-year-old whiskeys.
So that's the thing, right? Because those are from the jump. And we were talking about that when I was here checking things out. And it's like, okay, but when they're gone, they're gone. But there's that magic. Where's that sweet spot? Is it 4 years? Is it 5? Is it 10? You got one that you're gonna squirrel away for like the big anniversary somewhere down the road. God willing, we make it there.
Yeah, we've got some that we're letting collect dust, and we just want to see how long they can go.
Some specials.
I made a barrel for my son Aiden when he was born.
And he gets
it when he's 21.
Our first time together, I think you had mentioned that. That is, I'm so happy to hear that it's still sitting.
It's still going.
I love that.
Still going. Yep.
That's great.
So as long as he's good, he gets it at 21. Otherwise, I'm drinking it.
So the barrel that you're putting out, it's the name is Sweating Bullets.
Sweating Bullets.
What's the mash bill, and why did you pick Sweating Bullets to be the first for your launch?
Yeah, so the mash bill is 25% wheat. It's 100% Michigan grown, all the grain in there. We're only about 10% malted barley, which was locally malted and grown, and then the rest of it is corn. It's an heirloom white corn. We did not grow that. That was grown by one of our partner farmers, and it's called a wheated bourbon.
Where'd you come up with Sweating Bullets?
Sweating Bullets. Our names normally come up during crazy times, and I either can't talk about it or I don't remember it.
Fair play.
But we led with Sweating Bullets. We've got some rye bourbons going that we're intending to distribute, a high rye, one that's like Royal Oak rye that's seasoned with a little bit of corn. But we just felt like the Sweating Bullets was maturing and developing ahead of the other ones.
Okay.
So we decided to lead with our best foot forward. So we're just dropping 1 barrel of it, and
so that's not many. That's like 1 barrel is like what, like 12 cases? How many?
No, it's more. It's about 240 bottles.
240 bottles.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is a cask strength, so it's 108 proof. So
okay.
It's a strong.
All right, 108. That's
but
nice.
I think it drinks quite a bit smoother than that.
Is that what's in the glass?
Yeah.
Shall we?
Can we?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh my God! All right,
I might need to get a second one. I'm almost done.
He's been nipping on it.
Yeah.
So real quick question for you on this. Yeah. So 108 proof is what you said, right? For a lot of folks, when they release something for the first time, they'll usually go a little bit less on the proof.
Mhm.
Why did you decide to go with the 108 first for your first outing, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, the way we proof, we don't have a lot of product strategy here. You're not going to see any PowerPoint presentations.
I don't need
we
one.
don't go to market with a plan for what proof customers are going to want or
Okay.
bartenders are going to want.
Okay.
Every whiskey that we do, we will test it at different proofs, and
Okay.
we'll cut it to where we think it stands up best,
Okay.
and then we'll usually start barreling it at that proof
that point. Okay.
going forward.
That's fair.
Now the
Oh, thank you. Oh,
Thank
an
you,
old
sir.
fashioned. Appreciate that.
now the proof can change in the barrel.
Sure.
But
Okay.
we felt that this one stood up best at 108, so that's what we led with. And our distribution is going to be very limited. We're not going to be out there everywhere all the time. We're going to drop a barrel at a time. When the barrels tell us they're ready, they go. If we don't have any that are ready, they're not going to go. And it won't always be a wheated bourbon. It's going to be different types of whiskey.
I would hope so. Yeah.
I've been sniffing. I got some crazy stuff I'm thinking in this. I don't know.
It's
I
a fun.
got-
I don't want to be I don't want to be
susceptible
the
one.
suggestive yet and say until you've sniffed it and you give me. Yeah. What do you? I got three
have to
things
put
I
my
want to
nose
mention.
all the way in the Glencairn here real
I got
quick.
three things, and one is very, very surprising to me. And I don't. You can tell me I'm a lunatic, or do you smell the smells? Saddle leather and pencil shavings, and oregano and allspice, and I hear a lot of whiskey professional because that's our deal. We're not professionals. We like talking to professionals and learning. So, do you get those? Do you smell those smells, or it smells good to you?
Every once in a while, I'll get those crazy exotic smells. But I tend to think that a lot of times it depends on what I had to eat that day.
Yeah.
That day.
I don't know if my old fashioned is influencing my sniffer here.
I haven't had the old fashioned yet, so this is my
All
first
right.
sip.
So
today.
what are you sniffing in this? I haven't sipped it yet. I'm just working on the nose.
I am getting some fruit on the nose.
I want to say a fruit.
It's
Yes,
almost
there's
like
a fruit.
peach.
Okay.
Fruit
Mhm.
feel on it.
All right. I'm getting it's a berry, but I think it's strawberry.
Mhm.
I think I'm getting strawberry in this.
I get fruity stuff on it. I get roasted nuts.
Okay.
I find some, you talk about the more exotic smells. I tend to find a little bit of toasted marshmallow on this once in a while, not all the time. But like I said, what's exotic to me is the spice that it brings, which is not very typical in a wheated bourbon.
The barrel flavor. Now I've sipped it.
The warmth.
There's a decided
Okay.
barrel flavor to it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This was my first
The
sip
wood's coming through.
today.
Mhm.
And the warmth that is hitting the back of my head right now, I have to go in for a second dive here so I can kind of coat the rest of it, right? That has got a nice warmth.
Yeah, I'm not
Right
getting
off the
any.
get-go.
Yeah.
I'm not getting any. I'm not getting the fruity taste in the taste, but it was in the nose.
Yeah.
But the flavor is toasty. It's a barrel. It's
Yeah.
toasty. It's toasty barrel.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting on that. Very, very toasty barrel. Very nice.
I'm getting juicy fruit, like the gum.
Mhm.
Okay.
The juicy fruit
Yeah.
on that back end. Not a bad thing at all.
So is this?
I get a lot of cinnamon on the front of the palate.
Yeah.
Late is where I get more of the complexity.
Mhm.
I agree with you on the fruity notes on the nose.
Yeah.
For sure. I love it. I get big robust flavors up front, and then it gets very mellow to me. And you mentioned the warmth. It's a slow warm burn at the
Mhm.
end.
Yeah.
But it's
not harsh.
No,
at all.
not at all.
Mhm.
But there is a proof to it.
Yes.
It's not a low proof. There's a proof to it.
Mhm.
It's a nice. It's a nice toasty. It's a toasty barrel.
It is toasty. Yes.
And that's kind of like a craze right now. The toasted barrels, the toasted thing.
What char did you do? 1, 2, 3,
This
or 4?
this
right?
this has got a toasty taste to
Yeah,
it.
it does.
Yeah. Which it was not a toasted barrel. It was a charred barrel.
Okay.
We did not finish it in toast. That's why, I get all kinds of flavors on this. Like it's got rye in it, like it was in a toasted barrel, but
Right.
it wasn't.
Every
was
barrel is
Interesting.
different.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
piece of wood is different. Every barrel's going to hit you different,
Mhm.
and that's fun. So that's interesting because if you put this out there and Sweating Bullets is gone, are you thieving and trying to find another Sweating Bullets, or are you moving on.
So Sweating Bullets is one that we fell in love with. So we have been socking away barrels of that.
Okay.
So we've got a
we've got an
arsenal of those barrels.
You're finding that profile, and yep.
We've got a rye bourbon. This is our wheated bourbon. We've got a high rye, and we've got a corn rye. And we've been socking away a significant amount of barrels of all of those. But it's not like the bigger craft distilleries where we've got enough to where it's going to be steady distribution of all of those.
Sure.
It's going to be, dropping a high rye here, dropping a rye bourbon here, dropping a Sweating Bullets here, kind of game.
Yeah. Some look at this. So is the Sweating Bullets available here, or is it only going to be available out and about?
So we have a lower proof version of the Sweating Bullets available here.
Okay.
The rules are kind of quirky here in Michigan where we're not allowed to sell 108. If we're distributing something, we can also sell it here at the tasting.
I was going to ask the question about that. I was going to ask the question.
This is a political season. Let's talk politics. We'll get to religion in a second. But holy crap, get the hell out of my life. Politics. All right.
So you've been working on all these different variations and these amazing variations, and there's a process.
Yeah.
So for you to start distributing, was there a different process for Sweating Bullets? As going into distribution?
There's, different process in that not in the making of it.
Okay, not the making, but
you got to obviously make a unique product for whatever you're going to
process, the procedure that you have.
But you do have to go through a Michigan distributor, and you got to play by all the Michigan rules, and so there's a lot of laws and regulations that you need to meet. So in that sense, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I was just curious about that.
What about the packaging and the labeling? Is there more advanced packaging and labeling required for distribution than what you sell here at the tasting room? Or is it?
We're not real fancy here. We keep everything pretty simple.
But you got to get like approval for your labels and stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's again, it's like, thank you government for getting involved in my life. Way more than I want you to be.
Yes, it is highly, highly regulated. The bottle that it goes in, the label that's on the bottle, the product that's in the bottle, all has to meet very specific.
Have you run into any snafus? Have you been shut down on anything of late through?
We have not.
You've been knock on these gorgeous barrels back here.
Shut down.
All right, fair play. So it's like we've talked to a lot of distributors and craft people that are making spirits, and they say that's the worst part is the governmental
paperwork.
Just get to it's like, I'm busy brewing, I'm busy distilling.
I want to make something, I don't want to write something.
It's definitely a side of the business that I was not expecting. And it is one of the most challenging, but it's worth it. Once you get through all that paperwork.
There's a cadence to it once you get used to it. It's just all right. Here we go.
And we love what we do, so whatever we got to do to make it happen.
So all the distilling is still happening here.
Everything's happening
on 4th Street, downtown Royal Oak, just east of Maine. Easy to find, easy to miss. It's a discreet, nondescript facade. But just Google it and find your way here. So all the distilling is here. There's a new big girl over there, I think I saw.
Yeah, that's
right. Since the last time we were here,
did I miss
not
it?
get to meet Aretha?
No, I walked right
last week, and I was very happy. So tell me about the distilling and where you started and where we're at now.
Yeah, so when we first opened, like I said, we're a mom and pop shop, so the only thing we could afford, we went to Vendome Copper. They make the best stills in America, and there was never really a question if we were going to buy an American-made still. So we went to them, and Monaco is about the smallest still that they make.
Monaco,
the only thing we could afford.
All right, and, it was affordable.
So we were running the hell out of Monaco, almost every day of the week, trying to keep up, and then. Was it about a year ago? We got an agricultural grant here that helped us.
Nice.
Purchase Aretha. That's a 500-gallon pot still.
She is gorgeous.
Which is what I've always wanted.
Copper.
Again, from Vendome.
And
so we're absolutely in love with her. And with our bourbons and ryes, we've been running our first distillation through her, and then the second one through our original still to try and keep some continuity with the profiles we've been creating. But now with our malt whiskeys, I got a true pot still, and I'm really excited about that.
Look out, Redbreast, here we come.
He's gorgeous.
That's right.
Going
man.
after you.
And that's the thing about coming to the tasting room. You get the full experience of you're seeing the barrels resting. You're seeing, the stills as they're there. They may or may not be running, but the process. And every once in a while, you see you guys are pulling out thieves of things and looking at the proofs and the alcohol content, and it's fun to watch. It's when it's going on, but it's just an experience.
Are you double fisting, Jim?
I am double fisting.
I love that.
Welcome to the man cave.
That's the way we do it here.
That
on
is.
City Gas. But yeah, we wanted people to be right in the mix with us while we're making whiskey, and so we pushed the limits about as far as we could with the regulations of how open we could be and how close we could have people to the action.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
you're right in it, man. There's a big window right there. You can see it all happening.
Yeah.
Today, like I said, there's a band. Mike Conrad and his band. They're out there. What do they call them?
Midnight Proof.
Midnight Proof.
They always bring the people out.
Fun guys. And there was a taco truck, or a French fry, crazy funky French fries or something out back when I got here.
Funk it up fries.
Fries. Do you do food trucks out back often here? Or is that
yeah? We're just starting to get into some of our own food. So in the meantime,
I had the pizza last time I was here. You got some.
I got to give a shout out to Tanya's Pizza.
Local
Royal, great family, great.
So it's kind of like it's fresh though because
we cook it here.
So the dough is done, the crust is done. And then they add it and they throw it into a little oven here to finish it off. Yeah. And I had it last week. It was good.
Now, before we even sat down, you're like, I got to take care of this, and I'll be right there.
He's running with 3 pizzas trying to deliver them.
It looked the pies looked amazing. I just saying, it looks really good.
The hustle never ends.
The hustle never ends.
The hustle never ends. All right, so we got Sweating Bullets out. Yep. We got a distributing going. Mm-hmm. That's enough for you right now? Is that where you're at? Is that enough to manage, or do we have more irons in the fire?
I mean, distribution's a whole new game to us. It's not something we ever intended on doing. So we're kind of going slow just to kind of.
This is where we're at. We're mid September 2024.
Awesome.
It hasn't hit the streets yet, though. Yet it's not out there.
It is available to order right now.
Okay,
it just was made available last week.
Okay.
So any retailer with a liquor license can order bottles right now.
And a restaurant can get it to have on their shelf.
Bars, stores.
Is there anybody in particular you're like, I want this restaurant to have it, or they're gonna have? They've been bugging me and they're gonna have it. Do you know, or is it still developing?
So the tricky part in Michigan is we're not allowed to direct bottles to specific customers.
Right. You can make a request to this distributor.
Yeah, once it's out there, anybody can order it. So what we're trying to do is kind of create a private list of friends that we like doing business with, and then we'll tip those people off first when barrels.
When the new little insider information,
So, and like I said, it's going to be limited. It's going to be drops here and there. There'll be little gaps in between, but we're going to try and keep it fairly regular.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it goes.
So you're thinking maybe one a quarter?
Starting off, I'm not really sure.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair.
Once we hit our stride, depending on how fast those barrels are moving, I'd like to do at least one a quarter, hopefully more.
Yeah.
Maybe one a month or something like that. And for Motor City Gas fans out there, you can help us out by just asking for Motor City Gas at your favorite local water.
There it is.
There you go.
And
so not just water, but if they have a place where they go and they buy their bottles and what have you,
stores,
hey, you need to get this. Let them know that this is ongoing. That's out there. You should really have this because it's very, very good.
Yeah, we would really appreciate it.
I'm getting sweet grass now.
Yep. Isn't it crazy how it evolves? And
I'm getting a little sweet grass in the Sweating Bullets now.
Especially when it gets down to where you just have a tiny bit in the glass and you got a lot of open space in there.
Yeah.
You start to get some earthy notes.
The oils that are sticking to the glass after the fact, you're getting into that as well.
Rich, I got to think you just throw the doors open and let us come in here and shenanigan and ply us with drinks. We really appreciate it. You're so hospitable.
I always have a great time with you guys.
And what I was noticing while you were we're recording a minute, and you were like bringing people their pizzas and you were taking orders. And if you come in here, Rich is going to take care of you. Yeah. Him and his people are going to take care of you. If he's here, he's taking care of you. And his people are definitely taking care of you. So the website, what's the website?
MotorCityGas.com.
MotorCityGas.com. And just on 4th Street, downtown Royal Oak, just east of Maine, before you get to the Elks Club. I'm an elk.
You know.
I got to do it for me. I'm an elk. I don't know. That's not even a thing. The elk people are like, "What are you doing?" Yeah. So, but yeah, it's we'll get you in the Elks Club. We'll get some bottles in the Elks Club. But yeah, so people do the tasting room, ask for it out and about. And anything else? Did we miss anything? Did we cover everything? We get everything?
I think that's about it.
All right. We got coming up next, Chief One Love, the Chief One Love podcast. Rob Griffin, he's going to record an episode of his podcast here.
Yes.
And you're so kind to let us. Yeah, sure. Record crap back there. Go ahead.
Yeah, right. That's kind of the way it's always done here.
Thank you. So hospitable, and we appreciate it. And yeah.
Rich.
Cheers.
Honestly.
I love the Glencairns, man.
Thank you,
They
guys.
make such a pretty sound. All right. Cheers.
Clack. Like, subscribe, all the podcast things. And all the podcast places.
Do that. Go hit that kill button. And while I do that, like, subscribe, leave a comment, all the podcast things, all podcast places. See you.